Welcome to the House, Nick, Connor. Jack, you got a lot taller. Oh, wait, that's Ethan. New guy Ethan. Betting expert Ethan. Filling in for a wounded Jack O'Brien. How do you feel?
Feel good. Ready to pick for Jack this week.
Well, you're in good hands. Jack and I tied as the overall leaders right now. Connor 2 games behind after last week. Myself and Jack went 11-4. Connor, I believe, went 9-6. 9-6, I believe. 15 games last week. So things are heating up a bit. Still a tie at the top. Connor very close behind. Let's see what happens. We're in week, 5 now, right?
Week 5.
Week 5 already of this NFL season, and we have some fantastic matchups. Tampa Bay and Chicago. I'm riding with Tampa Bay all the way here.
I got to go with Tampa as well. Last week I picked Chicago to go, 4-0 undefeated. That didn't go too well. Tampa's going to roll.
Fair enough.
Yep, Tampa Bay. Tom Brady looks to be back. Played well last week, so hopefully he can carry that into this week.
Carolina at Atlanta. Carolina pulling off an upset of some sort against the Cardinals last week.
Yeah, Cardinals.
Atlanta just looks disheveled. Because of that, for that reason, I'm going with the Panthers.
Going with the Panthers this week as well. I think Atlanta's just not been that impressive this year, and I think the skid only continues. Carolina's been playing pretty well ball. Beat the Cardinals last week, as you mentioned, so I'm going with the Panthers.
Yeah, I got to go with Carolina as well.
Ethan, making it Carolina across the board. Let's see if that fate is the same. We'll go across the board again. We'll see. Depending on what we think of Buffalo and Tennessee. Tennessee, of course, had all the COVID cases last week. What happens this week, Connor?
Both undefeated at the moment. Granted, like you said, Tennessee didn't play last week. I'm going to go with Buffalo on the road.
I'm going Buffalo as well. I'm circling the wagons still. This little hand thing, we're circling the wagons. Let's keep it going and see if Ethan circles the wagons or not.
Yes, I'm going with Buffalo just because Tennessee just dealt with COVID all of last week, so Buffalo.
All right.
Josh Allen's pretty.
Ethan says they're not prepared.
Nope.
That moves us on to Las Vegas at Kansas City. I got to go with the Chiefs here. New England gave them a game. They had a game a couple weeks ago against the Chargers. Can't remember who they played. Oh, they smeared the Ravens in between that. They're looking like there's a couple cracks. They're still obviously a heavy hitter in the AFC. Probably, I think there's still really legitimate chance they go back-to-back. But some cracks in the armor there. I still think Kansas City pulls a win out here.
Pretty big AFC West matchup here. I'm going to go with Kansas City at home in Chiefs Kingdom. Like you mentioned, they played pretty well against the Patriots, even though they gave them a game in Foxborough. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I'm also going to have to go with the Chiefs as well.
And that will move us on to Denver at New England.
Wow. 2 banged-up squads. Will Cam Newton be back? No, probably not, right? Because COVID.
Probably not.
So, wow. Very tough one. Banged-up Denver team. I'm going to go with New England in that sense.
I'm taking New England as well. I think if they gave they gave themselves a game, they gave the Chiefs a game last week, I think they can easily find a way to get past this Denver Broncos team.
Yeah, I mean, New England as well. I mean, Bill Belichick is a great coach. We all know that. Even with a banged-up team on both sides, I still think the Patriots will pull it out.
Connor, why don't you read the rest of the games off so I don't have to strain my eyeballs?
1 o'clock, Arizona at the New York Jets. Nick, who are we going with in that one?
Arizona at New York. Boy, it's really tempting to pick the New York Jets. They're just so just kidding. Arizona all the way.
Got to be Arizona. I think they come off the skid. Very weird couple weeks for them. Kyler Murray hasn't been up to par, but I'm going to go with them in a bounce-back game.
Arizona as well.
On to Philadelphia Eagles at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Uh-oh. It's there. For the first time this season, I'm having that feeling in my gut. Pittsburgh's going to finally lose a game that they shouldn't lose. They tried to lose the Broncos game, but they managed to pull it out because the Broncos just didn't want to win that day, I guess, because that was a game that classic Steelers fashion they tried to hand to the other team. It always happens. You're a Steelers fan, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Every year they lose a game or two that they really shouldn't lose, and my gut is telling me that this is the week, but I'm not going to pick against them until they lose. Pittsburgh.
My gut was the same exact way, Nick. I believe this game originally was going to be that way. I'm going to go with the Steelers as well, even though they had that bye week off that they shouldn't have. But Philadelphia may ride that momentum into this game from last week against the 49ers, but I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Pittsburgh, even though they're coming off of this bye week, the crazy week last week. I mean, I still think I'm still going to go with the Steelers, but I have a bad feeling about this game. I don't know why.
It's all like we ate some bad food, and now we're just feeling a bit uneasy, I guess. Colin, what's next, man?
The Los Angeles Rams at the Washington football team. Got to be the Rams.
I think I got to roll with the Rams here as well. Not much to say about this game, I think. Definitely, though, we're seeing some reports now about Haskins. Maybe they're thinking he's not the guy. You don't like that with your young quarterback. I think they kind of put him in a situation that's a bit tough for him to succeed for the time being. And I think if that's really the guy they want for their future, they shouldn't be letting stuff like that get out, true or not. You don't want the fan base knowing that you're doubting a guy that young into his career. I think they're setting him up for failure with all these new revelations. I cannot possibly pick the football team right now.
Very an impressive start for them.
Yeah, I have to go with the Rams. That's about it.
Like you said, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know.
No further questions.
Your Honor.
Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore coming off a big win against the football team.
I'd just like to remind everyone, and very subtly solemnly, maybe, I don't remember which word. Like I said, we record this show way too late at night for me to process thoughts the correct way. Last week, I said Joe Burrow's going to get a win, and you and Jack both were like, whoa! You look like wacky, inflatable, arm-flailing tube men. That's how you say that. When I picked the Bengals to win, and they proved me right. So that means this week, you know where I'm going. We're taking the Cincinnati Bengals to not win.
I hope it was going to go that way. I got to go with Baltimore in this one. I mean, come on. I think Joe's going to get the rest of the season's not going to be too well for him in this Bengals team, but Baltimore's going to roll right through him.
I never said Baltimore. Baltimore is going to win. I said the Bengals were going to lose, but I guess it should be in writing somewhere that I said Baltimore's going to win.
Yeah, Baltimore all the way. Bengals don't have an offensive line. I feel like Joe Burrow's going to get knocked around all day. Yeah, I just feel like Baltimore's a way more powerful team than the Bengals right now.
Absolutely.
Up next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans, a big AFC South matchup in that one.
And I bet the fans would like to hear our thoughts on that matchup. And they will, right after this guy tells you some gambling advice. Stay with us.
What's up? Week 5 is here. Went 1-1 last week. First 500 of the year. Went 500. So, I got a business plan for you guys. You're going to bet with me, and you're going to get some money, and that is Morrison approved. Yes. So, we're hoping to go 500 once again this week. My first game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Chicago Bears. Tampa Bay's favored -5. I'm taking Tampa Bay in this matchup. The Buccaneers snuck by the Chargers last week by a score of 38-31. Tom Brady looks to be back, as he played very well in the second half. So I think the Chicago Bears, they're 3-1, so they have a pretty good record. But the teams that they played were not very good. They beat the Lions in Week 1, came back at the very last second, won that game. You all know about the Falcons game last week. Falcons blew another lead. So their record is, I don't know, it's hard to judge. But I really think if Tom Brady plays the way he did in the second half last week, Tampa Bay will have a pretty easy cover at -5. My second game is the Arizona Cardinals at the New York Jets. Arizona is favored by 7, and that is my pick. What can I say about the Jets? They're god-awful. An abysmal performance against the Denver Broncos. Kept them close, but still very bad performance. If Kyler Murray can perform the way he has the first couple weeks of the season when they were hot, I really think this is a bounce-back game for the Cardinals after they dropped the past 2 games against the Lions. The Lions, and I forget who they played last week, but it's going to be a good bounce-back game for them. And, yeah, they'll get back on track with this win. So I have the Cardinals at -7. And then my third game is the Sunday night game. Minnesota Vikings at Seattle Seahawks. It's a -7 spread in favor of the Seahawks. I got to go with the Seahawks. I picked them, I think, 2 weeks ago. I picked them 2 weeks ago to cover the spread against the Cowboys, and that did happen. So I'm pretty happy about that. Russell Wilson has played very well, threw for 300 yards in his past 2 games. So looking for him to step up once again and perform pretty well. Minnesota, they're a little rough. They're 1-3. I think they got their first win last week. So I really don't think Arizona's defense is or not Arizona, excuse me. Minnesota's defense is not very good, so I really think Russell Wilson will have a pretty easy day, and Seattle will be able to cover the spread. So you're going to bet with me, you're going to win some money, and that's Morrison Improved. I'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, Ethan. So, Connor, you teased it beforehand. What are we thinking here?
This is a very tough one here. Houston 0-4, Jacksonville on a skid as well. Very tough one. I'm going to go with Houston at home to get their first win.
I think a rejuvenated Texans team without Bill O'Brien there. They got my man Romeo Cornell there. We're going to roll with the Texans.
I am going to switch it up finally and go with the Jaguars. I don't know. I just have a feeling that the Jaguars are somehow going to pull out this game.
One of those wacky games.
You know, those feelings are never bad to have, especially when they work out for you. But when they don't, you're like, ah.
Not at all. The Miami Dolphins at the San Francisco 49ers.
Do I have to?
Do we have to at all?
I'll go with the 49. Wait a minute. That
It's
Dolphins team gave the Seahawks a game last week.
And this is a banged-up 49ers team that lost to the Eagles.
I'll do it if one of you do it. Can we make those kinds of propositions on this game? I'm going to take the Dolphins.
This is going to be a tight one, I think. I'm going with the 49ers, only for the sole fact maybe that they're at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the 49ers.
You're
sorry.
both cowards.
I'm sorry.
I was trying to have a little bit of fun.
Pretty interesting matchup in this next one. It's my game of the week, the Indianapolis Colts at the Cleveland Browns.
This is my game of the week, too. I'm not just saying that because I forgot about it, that we do that now. I, honest to God, was going to pick this one. This is a tough game, but you know what? I doubted them last week. I'm going to roll with them this week. Cleveland Browns are going to pull out a W here.
I doubted them last week, too, but I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts in this one. I think they're going to surprise us.
Some different picks here. Ethan, the decision.
Yeah, I'm going Indy.
Whoa.
Yeah, Indy. I don't like the Browns.
Big switch up.
They kind of faltered. They kind of faltered in that second half against the Cowboys, which kind of leans me towards Indy. So yeah, Indianapolis Colts take that one.
Oh, you two both just let me down there. It's okay.
NFC East matchup next, the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys from Jerry's World.
Oh, Dallas.
Got to be Dallas.
Dallas as well.
New
Banged
York
up
has
Giants
not been
team.
impressive. Not at all. Finally, that's going to bring us to Sunday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks.
I think I got to roll with Seattle here.
Seattle's been playing very well.
They have been.
Russell Wilson, not too great of a game last week. Let's emphasize that as well. But Seattle in this one at home.
I agree. I don't think you can bet against Seattle in this
Not at all.
one.
Yeah, I also agree. Seattle all the way.
Finally, Monday Night Football. The Los Angeles Chargers at the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, great. Get ready for some Who Dat Nation call-outs when Connor picks. Listen, this is a very intriguing game to me as well. I think the Chargers and Saints is a very tight matchup on paper. Saints, something looks a little off. They almost blew it against the Lions.
Still not playing too
Chargers, I think the talent's kind of there. I think they're a game team. Like, they're always going to compete. We saw it against the Chiefs. They've looked iffy, though, at other points. I don't know. The Chargers are always a weird team, and that's just continuing this year.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with the Saints. But, and I don't know any betting information about this game, I think it's within like a field goal this game. I don't think it's a blowout.
I could definitely see that as well. I think Michael Thomas will be back this week after last week entering the weekend questionable, then finally out on Sunday. I think he will be back. I'm going with the Saints at home in the Dome.
Well, it's the last game, but it's my game of the week. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I think the Saints will pull it out.
Well, all right. That brings us to Fantasy Players of the Week. Connor. Actually, no. Let's let Ethan start. Let's take it this way this time.
Well, for my Fantasy Player of the Week, it's going to be OBJ. Had a great game last week. Hopefully he can carry it in this week. He's riding high. Hopefully Baker can show up once again. And hopefully OBJ can break off another huge run.
I got the man, Mike Davis, that Panthers running back, filling in for McCaffrey, kicking butt, 19 points back-to-back weeks. If you're playing full PPR, that's definitely way over 20. I love Mike Davis. What an acquisition for me he was a couple weeks ago. Playing Atlanta, 0-4, morale's gone. Don't see how you could bet against him here.
I got to go with DK Metcalf. A little bit of a disappointing week last week, but I think this Seahawks team is going to bounce back now, hopefully with Russell Wilson throwing the ball a little bit more. I think they're going to get a win, too.
I like that thought. I like that thought a lot. We hope you like this show a lot. If the same audience that we had last week came back this week, thank you so much for checking us out. We really appreciate it. For Ethan and Connor and Jack at home, I am Nick. We will see you next week with more NFL picks. Be sure to stay updated with all NFL talk on StrandedSports.com and on Twitter at @Stranded_sports. We'll see you next week.